Let's solve homework exercise number 1 from section 10.4. Fill in the blank so that the resulting statement is true. The area A of a rectangle with length L and width W is given by, it's just length times width. Okay, 2 times the length times width is a perimeter. Area is length times width in square units. Okay. Number 2, the area of a square with one side measuring S linear units is given by, well, the length and the width are the same. They're both S, so it's S times S, which would give us S squared, right? S times S, S squared, because the length and the width are both the same, okay? So that formula does make sense. The area of a parallelogram, now notice, it's got to be the base times the height. The area is the height times the base, and they got to be perpendicular to each other. When we do a problem, you'll see what I mean by that in a few minutes. Okay, and the area of a triangle, you would cut a parallelogram in half, you get a triangle. So that means if a parallelogram is base times height, the area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. And a trapezoid, it's going to be 1/2 the height times the 2 parallel sides, which are A plus B. 1/2 times its perpendicular height, and then A plus B is the formula for the trapezoid. And again, the picture for the trapezoid, the A and the B, is if you got a pair of parallel sides, something like this. This is the A, this is the B, and then the height would be the perpendicular. So that would be your height. So it would be, the area is 1/2 H times A plus B, where A and B are the 2 parallel bases. All right. Number 6, the circumference of a circle is 2 times pi times the radius, or pi times diameter. Okay, there's no 2 pi r. 2r is equal to 2 times the radius is the diameter, so circumference is pi times d. Or alternatively, it could be 2 times pi times the radius, because the diameter is equal to the 2r, okay? And the formula for the circumference of, oh, there it is, with a radius. I'm sorry, that one was with the diameter is pi times d, so now they're breaking up into 2 problems. With the radius, it's going to be 2 times pi times the radius, because the radius, 2 radius is equal to the diameter. Okay, so both of them are 6 and 7. They ask you for both formulas. And the area of a circle is only in terms of the radius. The area of a circle is pi times radius squared. There is no formula for the circle involving the diameter. Well, there is, but it's much more complicated. So always use pi times radius to the 2nd power for the area of a circle. Circumference of a circle is a distance around. That would be 2 pi r. Okay, now we're going to start applying these formulas. Find the area of the figure. All 4 angles are right angles, which means it's a rectangle. And a rectangle, we learned a few minutes ago, is the area is length times width. So 5 times 2, 10, and the units for area are always square units. So it's going to be 10 with an exponent of 2, and it's stated 10 square meters. That's how it's worded. Okay, so 5 times 2 is the 10 for the numbers, and then the units are always square units. So it's 10, and area is always square units, square meters. Linear would be meters, and volume would be cubic meters. Okay, we're doing area, so it's square meters. All right, now here is a parallelogram. We learned a few minutes ago the area of a parallelogram is base times height. But the base and the height are the perpendicular. So with respect to this side, this is the base. This right here, the dotted line, is the perpendicular, meaning it forms a right angle. So the base is 55 and the height is 45. So you don't even need to use the slanted sides. And again, here's the same base, 55, okay? So it's simply the height times the base, but it's It's the perpendicular, so 45 is the base. So that 52 is the slanted sides you don't even need. So its area is 55 times 45, height times base. So we'll go ahead and do that on our calculator. And we get 2,475 again, 2,475, and everything's in centimeters, and area is always square units, so it's got to be square centimeters. Okay, we have a three-sided figure, which is a triangle. The area of a triangle we learned a few minutes ago is 1/2 the base times the height. The base and the height must be perpendicular or form a right angle. So again here, with respect to this side, this is considered, the 12 can be considered the base. Well, any side could be the base, but we have to use it because why? The side, the side right here labeled 2 gives us with a right angle, so that would be the height. Well, that's not the side, that's the height, right? Again, with respect to this side, here's our right angle marked here. So then if this is the base, the 2 could be considered the height up to the top there. So because they are perpendicular, because they form the right angle, you need to look for the right angle. So again, it would be 1/2, the base is 12, and the height is 2. So again, 12 times 2 is 24, times 1/2 is equal to 12. And again, it's square units. Everything's in inches. So the answer is 12 square inches. All right, very good. Homework exercise number 12. Now again, same idea. It's a triangle, but the base and the height have to be where there's a right angle. 1/2 the base times the height. And with respect to this side, this right here, the dotted line here forms the right angle, and it's 1.7. Now, even though you need to extend it, you just simply use what it's given. The original side is 9.8. So it's 1/2. If you take 9.8 as the base, then the side then the perpendicular going to the top, it's not really a side. It's this value right here, which is 1.7, okay? So with respect to the 9.8 side, the 1.7 is the height because it's a perpendicular, because it's got the right angle marked, okay? So it would be 1/2 times 9.8 times 1.7. So on our calculator, we could do 1 divided by 2 for 1/2 times 9.8 with respect to that side. The 1.7 is the height, and so we get 8.33. Typing an exact answer means you keep all the decimals. And again, area is always square units. Everything's in yards, so the area is in square yards. Okay, number 13. We've got a two-step problem here. This one's a little bit more difficult than the others. We have a triangle. We have a right triangle. We have side is 30, this is 24. Again, the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times the height. Okay? What happens is if you can consider 24 the base, and then perpendicular is right here is a right angle, so this right here, this side would be considered the height because you got the right angle. The 30 cannot be the height because it's not perpendicular. With respect to the base, this side 24, we have this side is perpendicular, that would be considered the height. So now what? You've got to first get the height to get the area, and you got two sides of a right triangle, so you can use the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so what is it? C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Okay, the hypotenuse is opposite the right angle. That's 30, right? So 30 squared is equal to A squared plus 24 squared. So again, 24 squared we'll do on our calculator. 24 squared. Let's see, I'll just do it so I won't get rid of this. If you do it on your calculator, 24 squared is 576, right? So we'll go ahead, 30 squared I know is 900, is equal to a squared plus 576. Subtract 576 from both sides, and we get 324 is equal to a squared. Take the square root of both sides, okay? Now my a is really the h, right? So maybe what I should have done is really called it h, right? The missing side is the h right here, right? Which I call the a. This is the hypotenuse, that's the leg, one of the legs. So anyway, after we do that, we're going to take the square root of the 324. So we'll go ahead and do that to get the height. So again, second square x squared gives you your square root. 324 gives us exactly 18. So by the Pythagorean theorem, we now have what? This side is 18, this side is 24, and here's my right angle. So this can be considered the height, the base, and this can be considered the height. So the area is 1/2 of 18 times 24 to get the area. Remember, we're getting the area. We first had to use the Pythagorean theorem. 30 squared equals h squared plus 24 squared to get this side here, which was 18. Okay, so again, finally the area is clear. 1 divided by 2 times 18 times 24, and we get 216. And of course, everything's in inches, so the area is in square units, square inches. All right, very good. We're going to stop this session at problem number 13. If you have any questions, send me an email at tswers@hodges.edu or call me at 239-938-7805. Thank you.